Yo, what's up? This is Splendid Radio on Far Side TV with a very special guest, Mr. AKA Machete.
What up? What up? Great to be back on here.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Hmm?
I got a couple cool things. First, man, I gotta give a special shout out to Mr. Rick Waldo, man.
Rick Wall.
Yeah, Mr. Rick Wall, man. He plugged us and connected the
Hmm.
dots way back out, and it's a trip. I know his mom, and we have a mutual friend, and the mutual friend was like, "Oh, her son raps, and he's da 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 da." And it was interesting because when I actually like looked at his videos and kind of what he did,
Hmm.
it was kind of like G Funk meets Jackass, like,
Yeah.
but in the best way. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like really dope music on a G Funk vibe. Definitely Huntington Beach vibe.
Mhm.
G Funk and Huntington Beach
Yeah.
going on, but doing the wildest uh jackass esque
Hmm.
type stuff in the videos, like freaking, going nuts. Yeah, so shout out to Rick
Yeah.
Wall,
Rick
man. He
Wall.
Yeah, very, very talented cat. So what city are you originally from?
I'm originally from St. Augustine, Florida.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I've been out now in California for I think 18 years now.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
shit. You you claim it.
Yeah. I'm not going back.
You can claim it.
Yeah.
So you said St. Augustine, Florida?
Yeah.
All right. So geographically, where is that?
That's like the northeast coast of Florida next to Jacksonville, Duval, like right there, North Florida, not too far outside of Georgia.
Okay. You know, the funny thing about Florida is that I didn't understand it until maybe about 2 years ago. Florida is the East Coast. It's the southernmost
Yeah.
East Coast, but it is the East Coast.
Hmm.
And I've known and I've known people, a lot of people. I won't say a lot, but I've known four people to move from New York City to
Hmm.
Florida.
Oh yeah, majority of people in Florida are from New York and Jersey. I was born in Jersey.
Okay,
I moved down there when I was like 10.
and it's so funny. I was Maceo lives down there, and from De La Soul,
Hmm.
and I was just kind of like, man, what do you do? You're from New York. New York has just really no seasons, very cold and uncomfortable. And you move down to Florida, and what do you do when these hurricanes and this extreme weather they're having? He's like, oh man, we got a generator, we get sandwiches,
Hmm.
and he was
Yeah, have
like,
a
it
hurricane
wasn't.
party.
Yeah, he was like, it wasn't a big deal, and I was just like, man, I'm so spoiled with LA. Like, I just don't know what I would do under those conditions.
Well, you'll find out in the next couple of years. California is turning into Florida. The weather's changing. The storms are getting bigger. Hurricanes are getting closer. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's
I mean, we
that.
had our first hurricane here like last year, I think it was. Or no,
Yeah,
this year. I think it was either this year or last year that we had a hurricane just touch us. Like, because usually they stop in Mexico.
yeah, we had some extreme weather like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and then starting tomorrow again.
That is yeah, no, that's what they say. What
Yeah.
a New Year's. I say, I tell everybody, it seems like since last January, man, we've all been Asian in dog years. like like it ain't even stopped. So what was the first hip hop song that ever spoke out to you?
First hip hop song that ever spoke out to me was Cell Therapy by I just forgot their name.
Goody
Goody
Mob.
Mob. Yeah.
Goody Mob. Yep.
Goody Mob was one of the first songs where I could like I started like, wait, what are they saying? And then start diving into which they warned us everything that's happening now. in that song.
You know, Goody Mob was one of those groups that I appreciated them later on in life. Like I didn't understand how ahead of their time they were
Yeah.
for being down south, you know. And the weird thing about it, I remember back in the, let's say, 94s, 95s, before Atlanta took over.
Hmm.
And the interesting thing was the West Coast was so focused, and then the East Coast was so focused. And while we were focused and kind of not really getting into each other, the South came from nowhere, man.
Yeah.
And they, I mean, I would say that they, if you had to look at the financial impact,
Hmm.
um, they've lapped everybody. Not
Yeah.
not cultural impact. When I say financial impact, I'm talking about the money that hip hop generates.
Hmm.
The South is doing their thing.
Yeah, they capitalized on it a little bit harder back then, I believe, with their whole merch and everything in their community and the cars and stuff, their meetups and stuff. I think they were more community based than the other sides, like New York and California. I feel like they were more coming at each other and stuff. And then in the South, they would just by themselves doing a cookout and just dreaming up like the funkiest hip hop beats and stuff and vibes.
Nah, that's a fact. So, um, one of the things I like to talk about on the podcast is listening to albums in their entirety. And every weekend, I'll listen to an album in its entirety. I feel that listening to an album in its entirety is similar to almost like someone that can write in cursive or read hieroglyphics. It's kind of like a lost art in the way
Hmm.
that our minds have been kind of trained. It's like the difference between watching a podcast that's about 40 minutes and watching a story. And it's like the
Hmm.
way people consume music now is like a story. It's like there's no attention span to it. It's like they just
Yeah,
want that quick
they
oral
want that one hit.
fixation.
Yeah.
Yeah, oral fixation,
Hmm.
dopamine, just like bam. And then that kind of defines the artist versus the album. Um, Two albums I want to give props to this year that to me, I listened to both of them in their entirety several times. One, the Clips album. Um, that album was from the marketing rollout, like in every capacity. That was that was just a really good album,
Hmm.
a really good album. And the thing is, people say, well, um, the Clips talk about the same subject matter every album, blah 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 blah. And I remember watching a comment on YouTube before I bought the album.
Hmm.
I watched a comment on YouTube where this guy said, you know, come on, man, are you really gonna listen to two over 40 rappers, rap about cocaine for the last 20 years,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. And then he answered his own question and said, "You're absolutely right." And they did it great. They did it masterfully. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And I totally agree. That was from the production um down to the rapping. And you know, I'm a Clips fan. And
Hmm.
so Pusha T as a solo artist, there's a lot of people that don't like him, but
Yeah.
I feel like as a lyricist, like his pen game, his metaphors, like everything, I feel like he's top tier Jizza level MC,
Hmm.
you know. Um, but to hear his brother who stopped rapping forever come back to hip hop come back to hip hop with a entire Christian religious path
Hmm.
involved in it, and him be able to make songs with his brother that were masterful. That was just really, I was really enthralled, really
Hmm.
enthralled with what they did. So the Clips album is the first one. Listened to it several times, like several times. The second album that is of current, I heard it for the first time about 3 weeks to a month ago at their listening party, but De La Soul's new album.
Oh yeah.
And listening to it at the listening party, um, it's the first time in a very long time that I was in a space and place where I just observed the scene, the mood. Everyone's head was nodding from the beginning of the first song to the end of the last song. And it was really, have you heard the album?
No, not yet. I need to get
It
into it.
was
I heard one of
so
their songs, the one single they released beforehand.
so the way that 3 Feet High and Rising was that uh an album that was cohesively set together with skits and whatnot. Like there wasn't a fall off of the song of the album. It was a work of art that started in one place and it took you to another place,
Nice.
and that other place was like the end of the album. This one did all of that. It did all of that. What was the last album that you heard in its entirety?
Well, one was the Clips, but right before that was Redman, new
Okay.
album that he came out with. Like I think it's been almost a year now, or the beginning of last year it came out. I thought that was great, the new Redman album, and because he came like see the same thing with the Clips, they came out and they came out the same, but evolved a little bit, but it was like the Clips. And then with like Redman, when he came out, it was like listening to old Redman. Like it was his lyrics evolved into where we're at now, but it was still that same tone, that energy, that fun, the jokes. Like I thought I was so stoked when his album came out, and I was listening to that thing multiple times all the way through when it first came out, and I was like, wow. And that's like now that like since you brought that up, that made me realize that like yeah, the only albums now that I did listen through are from the rappers in the past that came back out with an album because like the culture of that has totally changed. Like
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, you would buy an album and put it in your CD player or record player and just play through it. Now you just get these like one-off singles on your streaming platform that you just listen to. And so I don't think those artists are thinking about developing an album the way they used to develop albums as a story the whole way through. And so when now everybody that's coming back now from the past making their albums, they kind of are bringing that back because that's what they know how to do. And they're just evolving it into where we're at now in society. And they're able to like give like a little bit of a rebirth to hip hop with that
Quick,
stuff.
quick Redman story. Uh, I've been to a lot of shows um, around the United States and Europe uh, with Meth and Red,
Hmm.
together, and also I've seen Wu Tang. I haven't seen Wu Tang in its entirety in Europe, but I've seen Red and Meth, and then I've seen Raekwon a couple times.
Hmm.
But um, the last time I saw Redman and Meth in Europe, it was years ago, and I want to say it was like Denmark at a festival. And we stayed in the same hotel. And the interesting thing about him is that this was when he was kind of going through a conscious change. And like it was just crazy talking to him because he was telling me how he like, I don't know if he stopped eating meat totally or if he had
Hmm.
stopped eating red meat or whatever, but like he was on this change
Hmm.
and he was like on this health nut thing. And like even after the show, while we were still at the venue, like he was doing pull-ups. And
Hmm.
I was like, man, he's living it. Like he's
Yeah.
living it. And you could see in his body how like it changed. He was like really fit. And I just remember admiring that, like, damn, like this is like I wish a fan could see it from that perspective, from a
Yeah.
dude just like super, back in the day, he's super smoked, he's super, wild red
Yeah.
man, just whatever, to where our conversation was really about him eating clean, switching up the whole, switching
Yeah.
a lot of stuff up. And then the physical fitness part of it, like that was really top tier. And it's just like he's still there. Like right now,
Yeah.
he's still there. And that's just dope when you can see an artist evolve like that.
Yeah. And get healthy and everything.
Yeah. So your favorite hip hop movie?
Oh, it's always gonna be Belly.
Yeah.
Like
Hey.
Belly's the best. Like, and then after that, um, Juice. Actually, no. Um, the one. I mean, it's hip hop because you got Tupac in it, but Tupac and
Oh,
um, where they push
no.
the murder on the homeless dude, and the homeless dude becomes like this rich kid's son that's been stuck on the street forever. Gang
Oh,
related. Gang related. That's what it was.
dude, that movie was so like honestly, you know, Tupac, Tupac playing a heroin addict and really on some grimy living. That movie was dope, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nah. I definitely will give it up to. Yeah. Yeah, no, that was dope. So right now, I know that you do a lot of stuff. You cook, you're
Hmm.
down with the whole man butter thing, all that kind of stuff. You DJ.
Yeah.
How do you find new music?
Um, through other DJs, through um like Instagram and stuff. Like my feed gets is luckily been pretty catered to me. Like I was able to like with like some of the new artists. I mean, they're not new anymore, but a lot of people might not still know them. But like the Earth Gang, the same olds, like those all showed up on my feed randomly, and like I'm so thankful the same olds showed up on my team. Those guys are amazing. I don't know if you ever listened to them, but they got real big with a freestyle over an LL Cool J beat, and they just it's like I think four of them. They just kill it, and then like that on that same tip, when I start following stuff like that, then that's when Coast Contra popped up in my feed like a year or so ago. And like so it's really like social media just I'm always on there anyway with between all my businesses and events. Um I it, I've been lucky enough that it caters some like new music for me because there's really the art, the music isn't being broadcast like it used to be and not made like it used to be, like where every single month you would get like 20, 30 new albums being released from all these artists. And now it's just been like Kendrick and Drake for the last couple of years until now these new artists, I mean, these older artists started making stuff, but we don't have the influx of music like we had back in the day. So it's kind of hard to find music. So I've been lucky to have certain DJs in my life. There's a DJ, Jeremy Soul, who was on KCRW for like, I think 18 years. They just cut him and like, I think like seven other DJs there, but he was a huge source for me. He would be finding all kinds of music, all different genres. And like, he was probably one of my biggest music influences in the world as far as someone that picks through music and shows music to people.
So I'm gonna give you a little insight on Jeremy. So rest in peace, my homeboy DJ Gargamel. He passed away this year in April,
Hmm.
and Gargamel and the owner of Taco Nazo Bellflower, Omar, they used to throw these shows in Pomona that birthed Adrian Young and Jeremy Soule. The craziest, the craziest way the world works. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And I remember Jeremy used to throw a party in Santa Monica. Oh man, I can't remember the name, but it was shoot, Zanzibar was the name of the club.
Hmm.
I want to say it was a Zanzibar in Santa Monica, and man, they had it popping
Yeah, he's
up
still throwing
until
them. He's still
up
throwing
in
those parties.
dude, it was popping up until the college, like the USC and the UCLA kids started coming, and then it
Uh,
turned into something else, man.
yeah,
And then it got really big, and then it just fell off. Kind of,
yeah.
yeah. Well, you know that's how it happens.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
know.
he still does like Circus La Freak, or I forget how you say it. But that's at like the Maraca Lounge on Saturdays that goes off. And like his crowd of people are amazing. Like every time I've gone to one of the shows, I got blessed knowing him personally when I used to run an after hours club downtown LA.
Mm-hmm.
He lived in the warehouse that that I had. So it's like when I first met him, my buddy's like, "Oh, there's a DJ in here. You want to meet him?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "It's Jeremy Soule." I was like, "Jeremy Soule from KCRW?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "I listen to him like every fucking Wednesday night after I leave the Dub Club in Echo Park." And I was like, "Yeah." And I met him, and then I got all these like personal experiences with him where he just will play his music and talk because his music knowledge is unmatched by anybody. Like he'll tell you all. I don't even know how he knows these stories. Like probably because he's just been in KCRW forever and been around all these artists and he's such a music nerd. But like we just would have these personal sit downs with him while he'd be playing records, telling us all this crazy stuff about it, and then he would be throwing his parties in the warehouse across the street and stuff, and like it was dope. And like he always showed me such great music. Like as far as me DJing, I feel like I'm almost like a Jeremy Soule cover DJ because half my sets are all music he plays.
You, you know, reminiscing a DJ, and this is a funny story. So, I was on Melrose, and this was like, man, this probably had to be around 2005, man, 2004, 2005. And I don't, Instagram might have been around, but I don't think I was into it. But I know for
Hmm.
sure, you know, Facebook was around. And I had saw this guy on Facebook, but it was just it never really showed him DJing because he's a
Yeah.
DJ and a he's a DJ and a producer and musician. And I
Hmm.
remember walking, I was I was walking down Melrose and I walk up to him and I'm like, man, you're that you're that DJ musician guy. Like uh I seen you on Facebook. And he's like, yeah, man, what's up, brother? I'm Dame. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm Greg. And it was Dame Funk. And and the funny thing about it, um, there could be a documentary on his club Funkmosphere, dude. Like, did you ever go to the Funkmosphere?
No, I
Oh
wish.
man, I mean, it was at this club called Carbon in Culver City, and it might have held 150 max.
Hmm.
But once again, that college kid crowd kind of overtook it. And so, like, if you didn't get there by about 9:30,
Hmm.
the line of people rotating in and out was gonna go, you know, up until midnight or
Hmm.
maybe until about 1 in the morning. And then people would just kind
Yeah.
of give up and just say, like, well, okay, you know, we're not gonna get in here.
Yeah.
But at his club, you know, he would play the dopest funk music, and then he'd have incredible people there. Like I remember seeing Jody Watley there, just chilling. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I remember seeing Faith Evans there, just
Yeah.
chilling. You know what I'm saying? And when I say chilling, like they weren't on that star stuff. They
Yeah.
literally just wanted to come to a cool funk club and just kind of like kick it in the cut and
Yeah.
just, take in the music. But yeah, I'll say Jeremy Soul, and I do not know the name of the club that was at Zanzibar in Santa
Hmm.
Monica. I'll say that was a cool scene, and definitely I give it up to Dame Funk and what he had going on with the Funkmosphere, man.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome. So you living in Huntington Beach, super red city,
Yeah.
super red town. Um, you DJing, kind of moving around
Hmm.
the bar scene a little bit. Would you say that the people that are younger than you, let's just say like early 20s, with everything that's going on politically, um, do you think they stand for anything, or do you think that they're just kind of like oblivious to kind of what go, or they just choose to not? It's too heavy for them, or what is
Um,
your?
it's just I feel like there's just too much like information and things going on in their time period at this moment than that we ever had. Like we were spaced out between all the different wars and different things. Like every couple years we would have something new that would either be danger or like when we had the terrorist colors throughout the years. It's oh, today's a red day for terrorism and this. Like we had like one incident each year like that would make something go on. Now you put on your phone and you have all the lefts doing their crazy shit, all the rights doing their crazy shit, the LGBTQ community doing their crazy shit, and like they're only showing the crazy part. They're not showing any of the normal people of any of those categories. So
Yeah,
like these kids are stuck in that culture of watching things that are only 30 seconds, 15 seconds, and they're only watching the worst possible spot of it or like the funniest part of it. And everybody, there's so many causes going on because there's just the whole world is so weird, especially America right now. Is just so much stuff is either getting exposed or so much fake stuff. It's like can't even tell what's real or fake anymore. Like, I mean, they said there's aliens coming, and everybody's just like, whatever. It's like if they said that shit to us in the '90s, people would be going nuts. And now they're just like, oh yeah,
hey, people will be lined up at gas stations.
yeah. And now it's just there's just too much and so like what I see at the bars and stuff and they're out, I feel like that's the only time where they get a little bit of freedom.
To
Like
escape.
yeah, they're not like they're on their phones a little bit, but not as much as they are when they're outside of a club where there's music or a show. Usually they're just taking photos and making content instead of looking at content. So like they seem a little bit more carefree at those moments, but I can only imagine like how much stuff they have to deal with just on that level of knowledge of your life being that young. Because like in your 20s, you're so young. Like that's like when you're in your 20s, you feel so old because your whole childhood we want to escape it for some reason. And when we're in our 20s, we feel like that's our oldest age. So like they're probably just holding on to they're seeing all that information and it's probably driving them wild like to where I don't know if they get desensitized to it.
I'm gonna tell you where I kind of saw the change take place when I'm totally um I advocate for this being kind of like one of the horrible things that I've witnessed in the
Hmm.
last, let's say 4 years.
Yeah.
Um on Facebook, I used to really appreciate when something would pop up and then they'd say, okay, this is not factual, or you
Yeah.
should dig deeper, or this is an AI generated image, or whatever. There was like these things there to kind of sift the information just a little bit. Like, and it wasn't perfect, it
Yeah.
wasn't perfect, but it would kind of sift to the point of where you could Google something and kind of dive down a rabbit hole if you chose to
Yeah.
dive down a rabbit hole to just kind of uh discern if something was, you know, if it was factual or non-factual. But in the last um presidential election, um one of the candidates was just kind of like, I'm not going to be a part of nothing if there's fact checking going on. I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to debate. I'm not going to show up. I'm not going to, like, with no fact checking, whatever. And the crazy thing about that is that you have people that, even if you feed them facts, they're not concerned. Like, they're so hyped up, and it's almost similar to it's like a cult type thing on, but on all sides. Like, it's
Yeah,
not
it's an American thing.
yeah, it's like so much. Like, I know a guy who's like a full Trumper, dude. Like, he's
Hmm.
like he is. And for a while we battled each other. Like, he'd send me memes or
Hmm.
clips, and I send him clips. And I've been guilty of sending him some stuff recently because I just get so frustrated. But this is the thing though. He's so indoctrinated into a feeling. It's not even a philosophy. It's just
Yeah.
a feeling. And it's almost like a little kid that knows he's going to be hungry, and his mother put a plate of food in front of him that is something that he would eat, and maybe he even likes it a little bit, but he's just so pissed off he flips the plate upside down,
Hmm.
knowing that he's going to be hungry. And but he's so, there's this thing in him that feels a need to be down for some cause, and to be unhappy with a system of people, or something, that he's just like anti everything.
Hmm.
And I said to him, I was like, man, I said, dude, I understand that you see social media clips. I understand that you see things on YouTube, but when's the last time that you actually read something about the things that get you so emotionally stirred? Like, to like I'm not talking about someone showing you something on the internet or making you feel a certain way on the internet, and then you get this urge to want to, whatever. I
Hmm.
said, when's the last time you read something? And I was like, dude, you know, and I guess I was preaching. I was like, dude, before you become so firm in what you will allow people to shape the way that you think, just read something, like, and not in something that was written before 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? like read something. And then he shuts it down, and it's the craziest thing, dude. And it's kind of like, he was a decent, we were cool, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I'm just like, dang, is that how it happens? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that how it happened? But history does repeat itself, and this time and space that we're going through right now won't be the first or the last, where we have
Yeah.
people that are so upset with the way that things are, that they attach themselves to a philosophy, maybe wanting to feel like they're connected with something that's bigger than them,
Hmm.
you know. But anyway, man, that's my little political rant. I did it. I did it. I sure did. So we're gonna spin the record back for a second. Um you in Florida. Did you go to junior, middle school, and high school in Florida?
Yeah.
All right. What was the soundtrack to, let's say, your middle school experience in Florida?
Middle school, that would have been like Grateful Dead, the Misfits. Yeah, because it was like I was like a deadhead punk rocker when
Yeah.
I was in middle school. It wasn't until like I think it was like eighth grade towards the end of eighth grade when I first heard Outkast and stuff, and that's when I started switching more over to the hip hop part of the South and stuff. And then through high school, that was like Outkast, Nappy Roots, the Dirty Boys, the Pimp and the Gangster, or yeah, Dirty, the Pimp and the Gangster. I think where are they from? Maybe they were from Alabama, I think. But they had some heavy hitting 808s. And I guess in the South, it was like all about the bass. So you would get your truck. First thing you would do is put the bass in it, and then you play whatever bass songs that would had the heaviest bass. Like for Outkast, it was always what was that song? Rosa Parks,
Mhm.
the bus song where it's like boom, boom. Then like hip hop from Dead Prez had that huge bass to it. And then like the Dirty Pimp and the Gangster, majority of their songs was just heavy bass. It was like an Alabama version, or maybe Kentucky. I forget where they're from. I'm probably wrong, but it was like another version, like a weird version of Outkast almost. Like they had some of the kind of same style songs. And so yeah, through my high school, that's when it just got dirty hip hop. Like
So one of the dopest things that you said at when you were back in your middle school
yeah,
was you listened to the Misfits. And so I come from Harbor City, California. I guess the most popular group that came from here is War.
hmm
And we had the Descendants came from Harbor, well, Lomita, like Lomita, which is like 3 minutes away from where I live right now.
yeah,
And the Descendants were punk rock, like that was punk rock. But during the time and space that you're talking about, like with the Misfits, there was a lot of new wave that got classified as punk rock, and
hmm
punk rock was punk rock. new new wave was new
yeah,
wave, but it was dope that you mentioned the
yeah,
Misfits. There was this famous punk rock venue that's probably like a 15-minute drive away from where I live right now, downtown Long Beach, called Fenders. And I remember seeing DRI, uh, Great Britain Hardcore, the Vandals, DK, um, Fishbone, like all these. I would say it was probably about 85% punk rock and about
hmm
15% ska. You know what I'm saying? But like all these bands, like I can remember, uh, I remember when No Doubt was a ska band.
hmm
They were not pop. They didn't become pop until they got signed with Interscope. They were a ska band. I can remember a show in Orange County where Angelo and Fishbone mixed for them on the board. Like he mixed the show, and to think back on it, uh, at that time, No Doubt was a garage band. They were just
hmm
a ska garage band. Like they weren't. There was no. Gwen Stefani wasn't even a standout in the band. She was just a part of the band. And then they had another singer in the band who passed away. You know, yeah, he passed away. That was a horrible loss. And it's so funny because I think about it now. The sound that night was horrible. It was dope seeing Angelo from Fishbone, and at that
yeah,
time, it was like. And now I'm talking about like 19, probably 80, maybe 86, 87, like 87. I say
yeah.
around 87, maybe 87. But yeah, just me strolling down memory lane. Yeah, you said the Misfits, man. That set me off. That set me off. So your senior year in high school, you're about to graduate. What did you think your path was going to be?
Um, I was gonna thought I was gonna be a stockbroker at that time. My my cousin, he's big in the stock firms in New York City and stuff, took my middle brother up there and did an internship. My middle brother started doing stocks, like working on Wall Street, like the floor, everything that they show
Mm-hmm.
you on TV and stuff. Um, and I didn't really understand exactly how. horrible that job is. I just thought about the money part. So like my last year of high school, I did an internship with Morgan Stanley, and then I went up to New York and checked it out, and was just like, I was like, nope. I was like, and I fucked off high school because I was like, I don't care. I'm just gonna go make a shit ton of money in New York. And so like I didn't have like the best grades. I had to go to like community college after that. And but yeah, I thought I was going to do like originally I wanted to be like a chef, a pastry chef when I was younger. And then like I watched my brother go through it, and at the time chefs weren't cool back then, so there wasn't no like glamour to it, and it would just look horrible. And like I was cooking so much at the time, so I was like, all right, I'll just go to stockbroker stuff. And then I went and did that, and then my cousin, who's big time in there, he goes, I had to keep this job. Like he worked from the mailroom all the way up to like the big top of Wall Street, and he's like, just get out of here, just go surf. Like you just
I,
say,
I
and I was like,
I
thank
got I
you.
got a quick question about the stockbroker thing.
Yeah.
Um, for me, there are people that make money with stock and that did make a lot of money with stock.
Hmm.
But I always looked at this at stock like by the time something goes on the actual stock market, all the real money's kind of been made. Is that an uneducated way of looking at it?
Um, a little. It's just a different tier. So like with the job I was going for is going to be moving the money around for other people. So it was like there's people like my brother, my cousin, they handle giant multi-million to billion-dollar accounts for people and just move their money around. So when you're into that part of the stocks, you need a lot of money if you're going to play in that field, if you're not a worker of it. And like before that, like doing like the home stock and stuff, like you could make a couple $100 a day easy, like just at home for 30 minutes in the morning. Like my buddy, he's got a whole program that he does. You log in with them at like 6 in the morning, and there's like 40 dudes, 40 people, girls and shit. Like they all get together, they draw up a chart what they're gonna do, and if you follow him and do what he says you're gonna do, majority of the time you make a couple $100 that morning. And if you do it like they do it like 5 days a week, so the one day they might not make any money, but by the end of the week they make more money and they make back whatever they lose. And I've been learning it through them. I was on it for a minute and I got off because my nightlife got too crazy to where I couldn't concentrate at 6 o'clock in the morning to try to copy these trades.
Mm-hmm.
And like, but like he's been doing it. I've been watching him do it for maybe 4 or 5 years, like a little bit before COVID. He got into it with like the bitcoins and stuff and the cryptocurrency. And it's like you always hear those people talk about it, and you're like, oh, sounds suspect. Like, but I knew him, so I was like, okay, so let me follow him. And I watched everybody that joined up with him all make money, and I was like, this ain't no scam. But it just takes a little bit of detail. But you can easily make 200-300 bucks in 30 minutes off low money on the stock market each morning, as long
I'm
as you
gonna
don't
tell
get
you,
greedy.
I'm gonna tell you somebody who's in hip hop that's made a lot of money in the stock market, and they called cryptocurrency from the jump.
Yeah.
And when I say from the jump, I was one of the people that thought he was crazy. Because when I say jump, I'm talking about
Yeah, 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 yeah.
like
Beginner, beginner.
years ago. Casual from High Road.
Oh yeah.
He's a smart dude, man. He's like really you. So his thing in rapping is he goes by the rap god, and it's a cocky thing to hear someone call themselves the rap, but he is the rap god. Like even
Hmm.
Eminem has given it up to
Yeah.
him for being being the rap god. But he's a really smart dude. And like, man, I remember seeing him do before Instagram, just like on Facebook, and he would give people tips. And he it was crazy because he would say, listen to me. This is what you got to do. Listen to me. This is what you got to do. And I was just one of those people, like I'm sure a million skeptics
Yeah,
that was
so
just like,
many. Everybody was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
but then once he started making it, I was like, damn, dude, you called it, man. You called it. But he's always ahead of the curve anyway.
Yeah,
And shout out to Casual. He has a new album out right now, and he's doing some real dope stuff. But yeah, he's definitely a cat ahead of the curve. But no, I felt I wanted to ask you because the stock market has always been one of those things. So my father, he had a lot of money in the stock market when it crashed and like when money was worth money, like he had a
hmm
lot when it crashed. And I remember his guy from Merrill Lynch, when it kind of seemed like it would crash, because it's one of, so this is pre-social media, all that kind
hmm
of stuff. uh I would watch my dad call him just based off of what the newspaper said in the
hmm
morning or whatever. My dad would call him. His name was Kerry Moore. My dad called him up and
yeah,
say, "Hey, Kerry, whatever." And then homeboy would say, Bill, don't trip. My money's where your money is. Don't trip. My money's where your money is.
hmm
And so everything falls out. My father loses, like, man, he lost a lot, man. It was like I felt like I was in my, it had to be like around 90. You know what? It was probably around 96, 97-ish, 96, 97-ish. But he lost a lot. And I really didn't understand stocks, but it hurt me. And he wasn't even tripping. He was just like, oh man, I gambled, it happened or
hmm
whatever. But I remember having a feeling in me just like, damn, you kept asking him and you were calling him like every other day. And he was like comforting you, saying, oh man, my money, your money's where mine is. I got this, I
yeah,
got this. And it all falls out. And then homeboy just dodged all responsibility. And I just remember feeling just like so let down. And with that experience, I never really messed with stocks, dude. Like
yeah.
I played with crypto, and I'll say I might have put in maybe around 300 or 400 bucks, and then it got up to maybe around maybe 3,000, 4,000,
hmm
and then I was like, "Hey man, I'm pulling my money out." I pull, I pulled it out, and then I left like 300 bucks in. I want to say like literally,
hmm
I just left like barely nothing, and then I left it alone, and then I checked it maybe 3 months ago, and the 300 had grown to about 1,500. And I was just kind of like, damn. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna let it ride. And then I checked again, and it probably was around 900. It had like
hmm
dipped down to around nine. I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just let that do what it do, and let those who can do it do it. But I had a computer uh, technician guy that I knew, and he told me he can recall there was a website, and it was like a black website where people would trade just all kinds of different stuff. But I think he would trade, like, you could get like video games that hadn't come out yet, or
hmm
it was something to the tone of that. But I know it has something to do with video games. But he was saying that, man, they were trading through this website, and they were like buying pizzas with like 2 and 3 bitcoins and stuff like that. Like when Bitcoin was nothing. Like,
Yeah, I know. So many people bought pizza with their Bitcoin, and that now it turned into one Bitcoin. It's like was it 2 grand or something?
I don't know
No,
what
it's
it
a
is, but I know it's a
yeah,
grip. I know
yeah,
I had a friend personally that, I'll say, before Bitcoin took the jump, I'll say when Bitcoin was probably about around 10,000 a share, I had a friend that had like 800,000 worth of it.
yeah.
Yeah. And then I had another friend that was upset with him because he's like, man, see, that's what it is. Brothers don't share information, man. And he was sitting, and I was at London it was after a concert. I was in London after a
hmm
concert, and it was like at the end of a tour, and I was just kind of soaking up the environment and just like, damn, I've been hanging out with some real cool people and it's the last night, whatever. And then the other homeboy was kind of messing up my little buzz, my little fade. Man, he's like, man, we need to get together and we need to share information, know, whatever. But then, I can understand why people don't share information because, dude, you don't want to be responsible for somebody putting their like if it works for you.
Well, yeah, and if that would have went the other way around, if you
Oh
share the
man,
information and everybody lost their money, they're gonna be like, "Fuck you!"
oh man, what it do?
Like
What,
my brother and my family members that are in the stock market, they will not give me any information. I'm always like, "Hey, look, no, not falling for it." Because if something goes bad, I was like, "I won't be mad. If I lose all my money, I won't be mad. I promise." But yeah, they don't give out the information because of that. Like it's just because once you give someone information and something goes south on it, like something like stock markets or something that goes up and down drastically at any moment, like no one can really predict that besides they can predict long trends and stuff. So it's like small things. That's what I was like saying earlier, like making 300, 400 bucks for the first 30 minutes in the morning and stopping there is really safe way to like do stock market without losing all your money because a lot of when you go into the stock market and crypto and stuff, if you're chasing it, that's when you're going to lose everything. It's like you have to have discipline and just stop at a certain point, and whatever happens after that happens. If it goes up, you're like, maybe I shouldn't have stopped, but that was my stopping point because you never know when it drops down. And you pull out, and then you practice your trends, and you just have your own kind of like equation on messing with the stock market, and you'll be fine. It's just like you're just doing it on a whim and all of a sudden win big and then put all that money back in there and go after this other stock without doing any research, which a lot of times happens to people just because they think, oh, it happened here, good, it's going to happen again. But no, you don't know what's going to happen. So it's like sharing information is really hard, but there is some cool communities that like people have the understanding of it and they work through it and they're able to do it. But just sharing with a family member or a friend is really risky.
so if you had to choose cooking versus DJing,
Okay.
all right, that seemed to be easy.
Yeah. I mean, I can play good music, but I'd rather make good food.
Okay, all
Well, I
right,
mean, as far
nah,
as money or just
no,
attitude.
no, just
Okay, yeah,
passion.
just passion. Yeah, cooking for
So,
sure. Cooking. I mean, music's good for the soul, but like I feel like food is really good for the soul if you do it right.
all right, nah, that's dope. That's dope. All right, so man butter.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So we're in I believe, our ninth year now with this company. Me and my best friend and this lady came up with it. She is the chemist. We call her Juju. She's a little fairy. She's the one that got me and him on the health kick of watching what we eat. He's full vegetarian. I just kicked out swine and just I do high end grass fed ribs. I pick out my meat. I don't just eat any kind of meat now. Like I find it. And so like we got in this health train, so now we're making these healthier products. So our first product that came to the stores was man butter, which we originally made semi like a joke and for guys nuts. So just no chafing, no itching, you stay fresh all day, not to worry about no jock itch and stuff. But then it turned out it's a great deodorant, heals cuts and scrapes, any kind of skin irritation, it heals it really quick. Turns out it was good for eczema, psoriasis. Recently, we found out it helps out with shingles a lot. Um, and it came this like Swiss Army of cream. Like it heals, protects, it's a good sunblock, and it's just very simple ingredients, no chemicals. And it's still just us three doing everything. And we're in the process now of like finding investors and learning how to, especially for me, after I've been in the process of learning sales more because I was more of a graphic artist and more of a partier and stuff like that. I wasn't never really a salesperson. So right now I'm just really diving into learning sales and keeping my mind straight on that so that I could, our product is great. It just, we don't really have much money right now to really push it like other products. So we have to do everything grassroots. And now I'm learning the conversations and what to say and what not to say to people with money to find someone that can level with us, be on the same level with us, and be able to offer money and not try to change the whole company. And we're getting pretty close. We're right around the corner of getting a new facility to really make it to jump up production. Because right now our production is very small in the space that we have. We just need it to be just a little bit bigger, and we could start doing like a pallet full of production. And once we could do that, then I could get like a chain grocery store or CVS or like a chain surf or skate shop. We came out with another product called Tattoo Butter, which is targeting just the whole tattoo industry. Um, Kind of the same product. It heals the tattoos really well. They can use it while tattooing, and it protects everything from the tattoo afterwards and heals it a little bit quicker than most of the products that are out there. And in the tattoo world, a lot of products all have chemicals and stuff in it. Why you want to put
So
chemicals on an open wound on your arm? Because that's what a tattoo pretty much is. It's an open wound. So we're hoping that jumps off in that industry. And I have a past in the tattoo industry, so I'm using that to just work my magic in there since it's just me. But yeah, it's moving forward. It's great. And it's our first company that we started, and we thought it was just going to be for maybe a year or so just to practice making a product, and it turned into be way longer and way better than we expected. It pretty much was a joke in the beginning, just so that we can make a product fully through like design, labeling, packaging, producing, and getting to a store all on our own. Because we did so much marketing for other products that we saw the whole process. So we're like, we could do that. And it turned out we can.
dope.
Yeah.
So the next one, the HB patio.
Yeah. That was amazing. And that was a great, I had a almost a 5 year run. And at the same time as Man Butter right now is we're working on a facility, and that facility is going to be the new location for the patio. And we're kind of switching. The HB patio was its own thing, and it's evolving into patio worldwide now because we're going to take it out of. We took it out of my backyard. It's literally a speakeasy in my backyard that was we thought was going to be a 1 time, 2 time show, and it turned out to be almost 5 years straight every week until it got
Hey
shut down.
man,
It was sad getting shut down, but it was also a relief because having a venue in your house for 5 years is a lot. Like,
dude, I DJ'd a club for 2 years every Tuesday and didn't miss one Tuesday. Called Guadalinda's. Back in the day, it was a Hollywood, so it was like a Hollywood spot. It was like uh freaking. We had so at the it was probably like around 93, 90, 92, like 92 to probably like 94. And so we would have like there wasn't a DJ booth, and so we were kind of known for having like Everlast, Ice T, Queen Latifah, like all these rappers come through. There was no stage. It was kind of like it was a Mexican restaurant that had like a little
mhm,
dance floor
yeah.
upstairs. And so people just they wouldn't do a show. They would just rock something on the mic from the DJ booth. And man, I really missed that space and place of time. But I say that to say, man, I was just DJing. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it was mentally that was a I look back on it like, man, every Tuesday, like, man, like that's a lot. I could imagine at your house for 5 years.
5 years there, I was cooking all the food for everybody, setting everything up, setting up all the cameras, stocking the bar, getting everything from all the sponsors. Like it was a lot. And then like I would eat probably like an eighth or two of mushrooms that night. Especially in the beginning. The first like 2 years was wild. It was a lot of mushrooms. Like I had to start toning it down and then like getting things done earlier, like really starting to get people out of there by 10 o'clock at night. So I had to start partnering with bars to throw an after party and so I could get everybody, because no one really wanted to leave. I mean, it was free food, free weed, like, 'cause we didn't charge for anything. Everybody was 21, so it was like
But
all
how could you
legal.
afford to feed people?
It, I had like a little bit of help with some grocery stores. They would like give me gift cards and stuff, and I would just hustle and
Okay, nah, that
like I didn't think it was gonna go that long, so I didn't really like prepare it to be like I'm doing this every week and preparing food every week. And then at one point I started a membership, so it was like people paid a monthly.
okay.
So then that started covering because it was like when we were in our, I think, yeah, into our second year, I was like, oh my God, like I'm spending a lot of money every week, and like I wanted to still keep it for free for everybody. So I would just work my magic with different companies and stuff. Like had a grocery store down the street that would give me like $200 gift cards all the time. And like,
Portion control.
yeah, it was a buffet. Like it was like when it's gone, it's gone. So people like would not come late because they like came for the food. Like I can like, and it was crazy because it was all vegan, and I'm not even a vegan, but I was just trying to make a healthy meal for everybody, and I wasn't using like processed vegan stuff. I was making everything from scratch, and I was making everything taste like junk food. So it's like people were back there not even knowing they're eating vegan, going, dude, this is the best shit I ever eaten. I had like these old school Brazilian fighters straight out of Brazil back there just hoarding over the food, going, this ain't meat. This ain't meat. Like big old like guys that fought in Pride and the UFC and stuff, like just scarfing my food down. And like that kept me going because how much everybody loved it. And I just had to keep figuring out how to come up with the money each week. But it would only be like two dishes. So it was like a buffet style with two big pantry dishes of two things. Like
Okay.
and they would come and serve themselves. There'd be like sliders or some type of salad or pastas. Like I didn't really repeat many dishes, so I did like a couple hundred different dishes in those 5 years, and maybe had like four or five other cooks sub for me sometimes, but majority of it was me, and it was just yeah, it was a lot.
Man, it makes me
It
tired.
showed me how like how much I could actually pull off. So that's why like in my path to be an entrepreneur or business owner, like no matter what happens to me, I know that I'm gonna pull it off in the end and I'm gonna figure it out. So I'm never gonna stop. And like that was a big learning lesson for me, running that speakeasy out of my backyard and figuring everything out how to get it possible so that these people can still be not being charged. And plus, I can't sell alcohol and stuff. Once I sell alcohol back there, then that's when I get in trouble. So when the cops would come, they couldn't really do anything to me because I wasn't selling alcohol or weed or nothing. It's like everybody was 21, everything was free, which I learned that from when I had my after hours club in downtown LA of all those like crazy loopholes and rules to do it. So it was like I was bringing a little bit of LA into Huntington. Because Huntington, like you said earlier, yeah, is a very red area. Like, and the Orange Curtain is real. And a lot of my friends outside of Huntington were always like, I don't want to come down there. Like, what are you talking about? And I was like, no, you're coming down here. Like, I'm gonna make music here. I want culture here. I want art here. I want food here. Like, I want everything here. I'm like, you guys are gonna be fine. Like, just come through. And so, like, my whole backyard, we packed with a bunch of LA heads and stuff that would never come to Orange County. Like I was blessed with God rest her soul, Ananda Lewis. She was there almost every week,
Hmm.
chilling, eat my food. She loved the vegan food, and she'd be performing. up there with Nomadic and everybody and stuff. Like, and she was a huge blessing. I remember the first time she walked back there, I was like, grabbed my buddy, my business partner. I was like, "Is that fucking Ananda Blue?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "She has looks exactly the same. She has not aged." I was like, "Oh my God," because she was friends with our homie that was helping us run it named Nomadic, who's an amazing hip hop artist. And I guess they did a jam back in the day in some spot in Hollywood, probably, I don't even know how many years before that, but that's how they got situated. And they were really good friends. So he's like, "Ananda, come down and check out this spot." And I was blessed. And there's so many like dope musicians I was able to see down there that like were just, some of them like were like, didn't have a name for themselves, but they were just so amazing. Like, I've been going through all the footage because I started slowly releasing everything because there's just so much. I have like probably 50 to 80 terabytes of footage of live music and comedy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like, it's like just plugging one of those hard drives into my computer shuts it down. And I just been slowly going through and then releasing it and stuff. And then I'm hoping with when we get this new studio, I'm gonna set all that back up, but I'm gonna stream everything live so that at least the content gets out right away and then editing could be later. It never
Oh,
happened. I wanted to do it live back there, but like my house internet was just not that good, and it would just be like pausing, and it would just wasn't that good, and I didn't get a chance to get it to where I needed it to be before we got shut down, and it was just a lot
ah,
of work. It was just
I
doing,
got a great I got a great conversation for you, man. I know
yeah,
Farside TV might be interested in streaming some of it in some footage. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm gonna link you with Brown. That's a yeah, nah, he would he yeah, that'd be a cool conversation.
yeah.
And I'll say, man, 5 years, man, that sounds ballet boring, boy.
Oh my God, it's so much. And I got some AI apps that were like, oh yeah, we could, and it messes up almost like every time, and I got to go in there and fix the audio and stuff. So I'm like, screw it, I'm just gonna, because I'd set up three cameras, so I'd just do like a three camera edit and just sit there, push one, two, three, one, two, three, one, like just to move it around. But it's like each show was 2.5 hours. In the beginning, they would go to like 3 o'clock in the morning. And the cameras would be dead by the end of that one, but luckily, we got it down to just like a 2 hour show.
Nah, dope. So I'm gonna hit you with the last two questions. This
All
this has been a good one. Does fact checking matter?
right. Depends if someone else is doing the fact checking, and if it's a different corporation doing the fact checking, that's where it gets weird because you never know who's doing what. But like doing your own research and understanding that even if you do your own research, the stuff you read might not be correct. So you got to leave a door open on whatever you're sure about it not being 100% correct. Especially in this time of age, like you can't, like, you could do so much research, and certain things are blatant when you do your research, but a lot of stuff now, there's a lot of gray areas, and some people forget that, and they think that once they know something, that's the end all be all. And I think when more people are open to the fact that there might be a different spin on it or different perspective, then that's when it gets a little bit clearer, I believe. So like with fact checking, I believe yes, there needs like fact checking. It's just how fact checking is, how the fact checking is done,
Who's doing the
and
fact
yeah,
checking?
and who's doing it is where it's happening. Because it's like, because with the whole Facebook stuff, they found out a lot of the stuff they were just blocking stuff you just didn't want to hear or didn't want to know, like they didn't want you to know about. And they just said that was a lie, and some of it turned out to be true, and a lot of stuff is still a lie. Like, I mean, you just open up there and they're making up beefs between celebrities. Every time I turn on Facebook, it's like so and so said this about so and so, and then you look it up, and that never happened. But everybody sees the headline of so and so said something about so and so, but in the reality, that never happened. And like, so it's like you really just got to live with. learn your perspective and know that it's a perspective that and that other people have perspectives that you have to give them the respect of what their perspective is to a certain extent. You don't have to agree with them. You can still argue with people, but I think there just needs to be a little bit of openness on the
old
perspective.
school old school debate with factual context to the old school debate. You know what? That's one of the reasons that I could appreciate talk radio. Like
Hmm.
I was like, man, how could I ever listen to radio without beats going on or music and whatever? And then when I heard, just to like, I'm paraphrasing and just kind of
Hmm.
giving an example, but when I heard conversations between an educated Republican and an educated Democrat, and then it was up to me to kind of pick the edible things out of both of their
Hmm.
conversations and say, like, well, okay, this makes sense and that makes sense. And it's not like, it doesn't have to be a hard turn to the left or a hard turn
No,
turn to the
you
right.
never want to make a hard turn anywhere.
Never. But you know what? Real quick, I want to give a shout out to the homeboy, a real talented comedian and a rapper producer from I want to say Lansing, Michigan. I know it's really cold. I kind of my first heart wants to say Detroit, but he never said Detroit. But I
Hmm.
know it's Michigan, and I'm pretty positive Lansing. The homeboy Amaru, funny dude,
Hmm.
very very funny dude, and he does like a beat cook up. I don't know if he does it every morning, but I know during the week he probably does it at least 3 or 4 days during the week, and then he's on East Coast time, so it's probably about, I know about 6 o'clock our time. He's probably at it, but yeah, you could check him out on
Yeah,
IG, therealamaru.com.
the real
I'm almost
Maruda.
positive that's what it is, and if it's not, don't shoot me. Literally, I think, yeah, he was in the military and very skilled at things that he's never really gone into depth about. But I've used my imagination to think that he probably could be awakened to be the guy you would want to be around if something jumped off. But
Oh yeah, you gotta have those people around you.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And then also, I want to give a rest in peace to Isaiah Whitlock Jr. He passed away today, and he was one of those actors that the type of actor that he would play was a serious. It was on the border of being serious and maybe like kind of full of shit and
Yeah.
comedic, but his tagline, "She."
Gee.
we we give that
Was
one.
the
We
longest
give that
the
up. We give
longest
that
one
one for
was
you,
in
Isaiah.
what
Man, I
24 hours? Was that movie where he did it the longest with Edward Norton? And he
you know
comes
what?
in and he finds the drug or the money in the couch and he's just like, "Gee."
Oh man, now
I
you're
think
gonna
that's what
make
it
me.
yeah, I think it's 24 hours or something, 25th hour.
You're gonna
And
make me
yeah,
jump down the rabbit
yeah, that's
hole.
that's his longest she.
But I've seen that there's some there on YouTube. They have some compilations of all the
Mhm.
movies that he's done.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one for him on that one. And he did a bunch of TV shows too, I believe.
Yep. On The Wire. I
Yeah,
really, I
Wire,
really
yeah.
appreciated,
Yeah, The
man.
Wire was so good.
But HBO though, like HBO was, man. We gonna have you back in about 6 months, and we can have a
All
very long conversation. We can talk about HBO
right.
isolated to just
Yeah.
HBO. I'm gonna hit you with the last question.
All right.
What's the best advice anybody's ever given you?
Um, just don't stop. I've been told that by a handful of people. It's either don't stop, don't quit. It's all the same. And it's just this thing where if you look up people that didn't stop or the people who won, like there's so many times in everybody's lives where you feel defeated. And a lot of people, when they take that defeat, they stop. They dwell in it, they bed rot, they give up. And no one really gets anything correct the first time or the third time or the fifth time. And it's like once you get past all those defeats a bunch of times and you realize that you just get right back up and you look at other people that you either want to be like or be have that lifestyle. They went through a lot of shit that and a lot of people telling them don't do this, don't do that, and they didn't listen to them and they stuck to their path and it's like it's that simple. Life is really that simple. Like you just don't stop. Like you just keep going and you'll be fine.
I could definitely prescribe to that, man. I'll be the first to say I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but when it comes to work ethic, I'll probably wear somebody down to the. That's where my ground game comes in.
Yeah.
The on the work ethic side. Where can people find you on social media?
Most of my social media will be AKA Machete. You can find my company at Drive-In Products. And from there, you'll see everything from me, from
And where can they read about man butter?
Man Butter. StayDriving.com is our website. And from any of our social medias from that, you'll learn a lot from it. I got a ton more content on that topic coming out real soon into this new year. I have to step up a lot of things on it. So there's going to be a lot more people talking about it this year. So yeah.
Hopefully, we don't see a bunch of nuts.
Yeah, no, just one dude wanted it a long time ago to post nuts and say they're celebrities nuts that wear man butter.
Ah, that's
But
right.
yeah, but no, it's a full body ointment now. The nut thing that was 7 years ago. Now
Okay,
it's like
it's evolved.
deodorant, face cream, beard, everything. Like girls even use it now to take off their eyeliner, I guess, and it helps it with that. I don't really know the science behind that, but yeah, it's a full body. Like so, it's way past the women buy it the most once they find out the ingredients. They're like, oh shit, this is mine. Like women
You
steal
know,
it from the men all the time.
I have a retail spot for you.
Oh yeah,
I have a we'll have that conversation, a
yeah,
retail spot. And hopefully we will get Man Butter to sponsor Splendid Radio on Farside TV
yeah.
also. And
Let's go.
get that hooked up. Well, nah, man, it's been a great conversation. I
Yeah,
really
buddy.
appreciate you. Anything coming up that you want to tell us about before we
Um, Not really. Just things are just about to get bigger, and Patio Worldwide is about to go live again. So just keep an eye out for that, and you got to get into the DMs to find out when it does go live, how to get in there and be able to be part of that movement and enjoy that space of like-minded people enjoying arts and food.
so well, with that being
Yeah,
said, there's been another episode of Splendid Radio on Farside TV. Thanks.
yeah, bro. Thank you.
Peace.